In India, pharmacies are everywhere. In every street, you will find at least one or two pharmacies, and in some areas of Jaipur, they line the streets one after the other like market stalls, with at least 20 on either side of the same street. India has the third largest pharmaceutical industry in the world. It is estimated to have a growth rate of 13% per year. Prescriptions are rarely needed, and the patent laws make generic drugs so cheap that anyone can afford them, and travellers often buy medication to take back home with them. One of these travellers is Pradip Thomas, a professor from the University of Queensland in Australia. He is originally from South India and shared with me why he chooses to purchase his medication on his visits back home, as well as some of the history about how patent laws work to make medications so cheap.
Because medicines are available freely, in the sense that you can go to a pharmacy and you can buy medicine without a script. In other words, you don't need to go to a medical practitioner, get a script, and then take it to the medical pharmacy, right? That's always been the case in India. So I just continue to do that. I don't know whether it's an use or abuse of medical facilities, but I do that. It's a lot more cheaper. For example, I buy my cholesterol and blood pressure medicines from India because it's much cheaper. So you've got what's called a product patent. Okay, a product patent is like if you eat a antibiotic, right? Amoxicillin, for example, that has a product patent. Now, that's only the company who made it can legally sell it. You can't copy it if there's a product patent. But there's also what's called a process patent. So you don't patent the product, but you product the process. So in India, the Indian government said, we're not going to give product patents, but we're going to give process patents, meaning that you can reverse engineer a drug and you can make it your own. So that's where the generic drugs come from, right? They can actually create a drug that is $1 rather than $400. And that's, so you can imagine the margins that these guys make, pharmaceutical companies make. Although they say that they've invested in all the research and development, and billions of dollars have been invested, and this is how they get back their stuff. But there's a huge complex political struggle over those things.
Having such cheap and easily accessible medication allows everyone to have equal access to all medicines. But it also means that over-the-counter drug addiction is a massive problem, with many pharmacies not following regulations, selling banned substances, and knowingly selling to people with over-the-counter drug addiction. India is facing a major substance abuse problem, including drugs like inhalants, marijuana, tobacco, alcohol, and legally purchased over-the-counter drugs. NGOs such as this one are working tirelessly to try and solve this problem. Asha Bhawan is an NGO drug rehabilitation centre in Jaipur for people suffering from addictions including alcohol, OTC drugs, and heroin. Gadesh is one of the patients at the centre and says that he has noticed India's drug addiction problem has been getting worse.
I find the other people, my friends in my circle, they are even affected more than, they are under influence of all kind of injecting drugs and this, all sort of this opium and marijuana and kind of stuffs. So it is getting more popularity. Of late, last 8 to 10 years, it is getting more.
Benjamin runs Asha Bhawan and had been a victim of addiction himself, including the use of over-the-counter drugs.
We started doing drugs by getting it from the pharmacy. The pharmacies, under the counter, not over the counter, under the counter, they were selling, not even with the price of the, not even the price, but even triple the price of what is written in the price of the particular stuff. And then we started by using those stuffs.
Almost any over-the-counter drug can be used as an abused substance, and the cheap prices of medication allows people to be able to afford to purchase large quantities of drugs to support their addiction. Dr. Rashmi, a psychology professor from Amity University, spoke to us about how and why these substances are so addictive.
Because sometimes they over-medicate themselves, like a simple cough syrup can also become a substance, abusive substance, if they consume it in a too much of amount and exceed the limit of consumption. Or a simple anti-allergic pill also. It intoxicates your brain in a little amount, but if you consume it in a limitless manner, that time it becomes your addictive feature and you can't live without it. And in India we have a tendency of buying medicines without prescription from the pharmaceutical shops or from medical shops, and even psychiatric medicines which are banned, which should not be sold without proper medication, proper prescription, that are also been sold in the medical shops. So they are easily used as substances, as addictive substances, like antidepressants and all. Morphine is a drug which is used to treat cancer patients. It helps to reduce their pain, but it's a banned drug by our narcotics department. But sometimes with medical shops do sell these drugs to the normal youths also with charging a bit high amount from them. They charge a good high amount and they sell the morphine also. The case has been reported so many times.
Everyone knows that smack and heroin, that is very dangerous for everyone. But above that, over-the-counter drugs that we get from the pharmacies, if we misuse that, that is more dangerous. So as I've experienced, I've seen, even my friends, that the capsule, the medicine inside the capsule, they are meant to be eaten by water, swallowed, but they take out the stuff inside and then mix it with the distilled water, and then they inject it. So when sometimes you inject that in your veins, and sometimes when you miss the veins and go in the flesh, it swallows up, and then sometimes it happens that you need to cut off your hand or infect it.
Mr. Nitesh Kumar is a pharmacist from the Super Medical Store in Jaipur's SMS Hospital. He told us that a government act called the H1 Schedule prevents pharmacists from selling to people without a prescription or selling to people with substance abuse problems.
जैसे कंपटीटर होते हैं, यही कंपनीज वगैरह यही रेटें रिवाइज़ करती रहती है, कभी इनकी लो रहती है, कभी हाई होती रहती है. बाकी गवर्नमेंट इस पर एक्ट लगाती है, DPCU एक्ट, उसमें सारी जिनकी जो सॉल्ट वगैरह होते हैं जेनरिक नेम, उनके हिसाब से सबकी रेटें बाउंड कर दी जाती है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे. अब तो बिल्कुल स्ट्रिक्टनेस हो गई है. इस पर मंथली रिपोर्ट जाती है तो हमें आगे रिपोर्ट भेजनी पड़ती है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं, यहाँ से कुछ नहीं होता. ये सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट है और इस पर बहुत से पनिशमेंट वगैरह और काफ़ी वो लगा रखे चार्जेस वगैरह, इसलिए कोई सेल आउट नहीं करता.
The H1 schedule only covers some medications, not all of them, and pharmacists still have ways of avoiding the system.
All pharmacies are not the same. Some are very genuine, some are very they very strictly ask for prescription, but some pharmacies so as to make a lot of money, they just take care about the society or people. They know that it's injurious to the society, but still then they sell to the people who are drug addict knowingly, and then so as to get a lot of income. They are selling it and they are not giving the right account or things like that. And as I say, when in my part of the country, they were the pharmacists were the drug peddlers.
And some of them get caught, some of them don't get caught. But there's a lot of gray areas in India at a variety of levels, right? So if you know where to get stuff that is banned or something, you can get it. So it's not too difficult.